phone number as well, so I'm very diplomatically going to say I love them equally as much as each other in very different ways.
Let's put the nice spin on that question. What's the best quality of working with Matt Smith, and what's the best quality of working with Peter Capaldi?
What's really interesting is, actually, as actors, they're really similar, and I think it's to do with the part of playing the Doctor and the kind of actor that gets cast playing the Doctor, because it has to be somebody really mercurial, someone who can, you know, be incredibly funny and 5 lines later make you cry, someone who's kind of unknowable, someone who can be a child, someone who's totally alien, in fact. Actually. Someone who can play an alien, someone who can be 2,000 years old. So they're both incredibly fearless, spontaneous, brave, really, really generous, so funny. So it would really be interesting to see them working together, actually, but their doctors are very, very different, even though their work processes are the same. So yeah, I've been so lucky to work with both of them. But from take to take, you will never know what they're going to do, which is really, really exciting, because they'll kind of throw something at you and then not literally. And so it keeps you on your toes all the time. So I feel like as an actor, I'm constantly being pushed all the time. It's really exciting. I wish they'd show loads of outtakes, actually, because you'd be really surprised how different a scene can be.
We have a small person here.
Hi, my name's Tania, and I was just wondering, what's your favorite Doctor Who episode you acted in?
Oh, that I acted in? I still think The Snowman, for me, still holds a really special place. I think it's because I remember sending Stephen a message after I read it, saying I just feel like I've stepped into a fairy tale, like the whole TARDIS on a cloud, the spiral staircase, Victorian London, running around, living a double life, effectively being Nancy from Oliver and Mary Poppins all in one episode. Was just so fun, and Strax and Vastra, the whole, and I think as well, it's kind of the first time Clara meets the Doctor and chases him down, really. He kind of falls in love a little bit with him and his TARDIS and his world, so that always will hold a very special place in my heart.
My name is Jaden.
Hi, Jaden.
I was wondering, who is your favorite villain in Doctor Who?
Ooh, good question. I tell you who I thought was brilliant was Half-Face Man in Deep Breath, and really scary. Nobody know him? Anybody? But to work with him, because obviously we had all the CGI with all the cogs and the things flicking through his head, but he was so scary on set to work with. Like, I probably think that's the most scared I've been.
Hi, my name is Robin, and I was just wondering if you've taken the Pottermore quiz, and if you have, what Hogwarts house you got.
Oh, no, I haven't, but I should do. What did you get?
Hufflepuff.
I'll add it to my to-do list.
Four people in my house, we each took the test, and all got different houses.
Oh, really? Interesting dynamic.
Hi, my name is Matt, and I have to say my favorite episode of yours is the first one, Asylum of the Daleks.
Yes.
Ever since I've seen it, and I'm sure other people have wondered this as well, I have to ask, do you know how to make a souffle? And
No!
so, what's your favorite type?
Who really knows how to make a souffle? Is it even possible? I googled it, and there was a scene, what episode was it? But later on in series 7, where modern day Clara had to be whisking a souffle. So in true methodical form, I googled it, and it's really hard. It's really hard to make a souffle. And I don't think Oswald never managed it either. So it forever remains a souffle mystery.
It's a certain recipe that you have to be isolated for many hours, many weeks.
I think so. You have to get it wrong a lot of times before you maybe get one right. I'll keep trying.
Hi, my name is Isabel, and I was wondering, when you first showed up on Doctor Who in Asylum of the Daleks, did you always know that you were going to come back as a companion, or did they plan that after that episode?
Good question. I did. I know it was written with the idea of Oswin being a guest character, and then they were casting for the new companion around the same time, and then Stephen had the idea that Oswin could be the new companion, and that's where I think the story all began. So it wasn't written with that in mind, but then became that. But I came to the part knowing I would keep popping up in different forms, which was cool.
Okay, so on set, when you filmed killing Daleks or helping the Doctor kill Daleks, did you ever feel guilty? I mean, you were a Dalek in one incarnation.
I do actually. There's something I think I always feel I should feel a strange affinity with the Daleks because I was a Dalek and I was miniaturized and then put inside a Dalek. And as we'll see in, am I going to give any spoilers away here? Where are we up to? Maybe. You'll see on Saturday there is another Dalek association, so I seem to have a very close relationship with Daleks. Hello, Missy.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very well.
Very good costume.
Thank you. You have worked with some amazing directors on Doctor Who.
Yes.
Can you tell me what an excellent director brings to an episode? And has a director ever taught you something new or surprised you about your own character, Clara?
All of our directors. I think the wonderful thing about Doctor Who is, despite the fact it's a series, every single episode can be tonally its own thing, completely self-contained, and so you can really. You have so much scope to move around, whether you do an episode like Robin Hood and it's a big romp, or something like Into the Dalek, which is a lot darker. So it's an amazing, for directors that are returning as well, they can come and do completely different work all the time. Douglas McKinnon is incredible, who did Listen. And also the new Sherlock as well, coming up. Ben Wheatley, who did Deep Breath and Into the Dalek. I think just cinematically, and it's incredible to watch directors' vision, I suppose. And each director is so different week to week. So that's, for me, is a really exciting part of the job.
I want to ask just a second, since we have Missy there.
Hello.
Working with Michelle Coleman.
Yes.
What's that been like?
Oh my God, she's so bonkers. She's a really good friend, but she is utterly, in the most brilliant way, bananas. But what's really difficult is, it's so hard to not corpse all the time. And also, it's really hard to forget that I'm not supposed to like her. Because you watch her and she's so funny and really magnetic. That you kind of just want to join in with her and laugh with her all the time. Oh no, wait, you're responsible for Danny being a Cyberman. I don't like you. But she's just magnetic. She's so magnetic and hilarious and kind and lovely as well. She's brilliant.
She had a great moment in the last episode that we watched, the first episode of the season, when the Doctor refers to Davros as his arch nemesis.
Yeah.
And she took offense to that.
Yeah.
It's like, well, what am I?
I also like the bit where she calls Clara the puppy as well. She's so funny. She is so funny, and she improvises quite a lot as well. So have you seen the bit where she is just singing opera, where we're all tied up? She'll just start a scene and just start doing that. So you kind of just have to, okay, just carry on. But she's so, utterly kind of psychotic yet likeable. It's a fascinating mix.
So you mentioned Danny here in
Yes.
your last answer, and
Danny's in cyber heaven.
Yes, following this sort of heartbreaking love story between you and Danny, I'm curious, will you find love again? Will we see any new love interest?
I think Clara is enjoying being an independent woman. I think her love life is, to be honest, what's happened in this series is she's much more space-bound, and that's where she wants to be. I think kind of all of her ties to Earth are being cut, and last year she was living a double life, whereas this year she's like, come on, let's get in the TARDIS and go to the moon and Mars, Saturn, let's discover new planets, let's see and eat up everything we can because life is short. And I don't think she has time for boys, men. at the moment. I think she's having too much fun hanging out with a 2,000-year-old alien time traveling.
You're doing a new series next year, or Queen Victoria, is that right?
Yes, yes.
So there's Albert's there, so there's...
Yeah. Queen Victoria definitely has a love interest. Yes. And also, she does not time travel.
Has that started up yet?
No, I'm in prep. I'm starting in a couple of weeks. So I'm learning to ride a horse and waltz and be a queen.
Have a familiar looking outfit here.
Hi. I'm Brianna.
Hi, Brianna.
I've always wondered how you ended up being in Captain America in that one scene.
Yeah.
That was your first movie, wasn't it?
That was my first movie. I just auditioned. And I had one of those really funny auditions where I had no idea what was going on, but they were like, if you can just imagine this car is like floating above, it's like flying and then it crashes, and then just imagine. And so it was a slightly bizarre audition, but a really great, I was in it for about 2 seconds. But it was a lot of fun and really great to see a film on that scale, and it was good fun.
For those who don't know, Captain America, the First Avenger, at the World's Fair, she is Bucky Barnes' date. Which isn't bad.
It's not bad. No, it's not bad. It was a double date. It was Connie and Bonnie, I think we were called. Connie and Bonnie. Very funny.
Next.
Quick question. With your relationship with Richard Madden, any fears of another red wedding?
I don't even know how to answer that.
You're not required to.
Let's hope not. Blimey. Hello.
Next.
Really? My turn already?
Your turn.
Thank you. This is a question for either Jana or Clara.
Okay. Am I in character right now?
However you feel best to answer this.
Okay.
I would like to know, what is your favorite alien?
Besides the guy you ride around the TARDIS with.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Doctor Who. I also like Strats. Yeah. Potato guy. Hello.
Hello, my name is Deborah.
Hi, Deborah.
Hi, I was wondering, what is your favorite scene of all time to film with Matt Smith?
Oh, do you know what? Oh, I can say this now. This is good. For my leaving do, they showed a video and they got loads of outtakes, and there's such a funny one from The Snowman where we were on the roof and it was snowing, and before we get the ladder to go up to the TARDIS, and it was that scene because it just felt so quintessentially Doctor Who. We were running from a monster, the monster was right behind us, yet we were having an argument, and it was snowing, and there was like scary snowmen as well there, and we just had to reach up for the umbrella, but we had so many, it was really hard to do and I kept missing, so there's about 50 million outtakes of me doing the scene and then not getting the umbrella caught in the ladder, which is very funny. I hope they release it. I enjoyed it very much.
Hi, I'm Charlotte.
Hello, Charlotte.
What was the main reason behind you being so argumentative with the doctor after being so loving with Matt Smith?
Because he's really difficult. I think her school teacher-ness comes out. And also, I think it was just them navigating their new dynamic. And I think what Stephen was really keen to do was actually really explore regeneration, not just to say, oh, hello, best friend, you have a new face. Anyway, where do you want to go? Is actually to kind of really explore that story and how difficult it is when your best friend changes their face. And kind of really feel that struggle of them finding their way to what is their new dynamic now, I think. So it wasn't an easy road and it was complicated and it was hard, but I think ultimately it's made our relationship strange and charming and not easy and not straightforward and complicated, and I think that's really good.
Hi, my name is Isaac, and I was wondering if you had any great and funny fan stories to tell.
What do you mean?
Like where a fan has talked to you or embarrassed you in public?
I don't know, I had a cute one the other week. There was a guy who was like, I'm really sorry, I'm trying hard not to propose to you. Which I think was very sweet.
I got a funny fan story. When I got my photo op with you yesterday,
Oh, no.
I posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And none of my family, kind of black sheep in my family when it comes to Doctor Who. And I got a whole bunch of questions. You should ask her out on a date. She's really cute. All my sisters in my family. My question is, have you been able to explore the great state of Utah? And if not, are you going to?
No, I really want to though. I arrived yesterday and came straight here. I've never been here before and it looks absolutely beautiful and I would love to spend more time here and explore.
Your predecessor got to go to Monument Valley.
I beg your pardon?
Your predecessor got to go to Monument Valley.
Karen?
Karen,
Yeah.
for an episode they filmed here.
Yes, they did. I know I thought that when I landed. I was like, oh god, the guys came in. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Frankie.
Hi.
My question is, was there a moment when you just totally fell in love with acting? And if so, like, what would you want other actors, like, what info would you want to give to other actors?
Like advice, you mean, or just
like advice?
It's just something that I used to dance when I was little, and then it's something that I've always done and loved, and I love films, and I love going to the theatre, and I love books, I love things that kind of take your imagination away, and I suppose kind of transport you really. That's why I do love doing period films and things that kind of you step onto a set and you're in a whole other world. Really, I feel like I get to play for my living, which is pretty ace. And advice-wise, I think just my advice really is just to keep reading as much as you can and watch as many films as you can, and get involved with, whether it's your local theatre group or even pick up your iPhone and make films yourself. Just keep trying to be creative, I suppose. But I think the world is changing with the internet and things are a lot more accessible. So many of my friends at the moment are making their own films with software they can download and things like that. So it's kind of really opening up.
Hi, my name is Ellie.
Hi, Oswald.
So, I was wondering, if you could name the beloved doctor, what would you name him?
John. Something like Barry. Or maybe Fred.
Hi, Amber.
Hi.
My kids cry every time you die.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They get over it.
I'll probably just keep coming back, yeah.
I'm just wondering, you've played so many kind of historic roles. You've been in Jane Austen's world, you've been in Doctor Who's world, and you're preparing to be the Queen of England.
Yes.
Which role have you felt that you needed to prepare the most for?
I think they all... It depends on the job, I suppose. I think your approach for each job always ends up being very different. Like with Doctor Who, when I first started, I only had one script. And I was like, but where's she come from? And what does she like? And what does she do? And asking all these questions. And Stephen just said, look, in Doctor Who, as the companion, you know nothing of this world at all. So all I want you to do is turn up on the day and react and be spontaneous and be totally in the moment. And I was like, but I feel I need to do this preparation and this and this and this. And he's like, just turn up and do it. And that for me was really scary and requires you actually to be very, very brave, I think. And it's a whole different way of working. But yeah, I do, with Victoria, obviously, I'm deep in prep at the moment and reading all sorts of biographies and stuff. So I think it depends on what kind of job it is, really, and it changes. You're welcome. Nice question.
Hi, my name's Olivia.
Hi.
And I just wanted to know what it was like working with all of David Tennant, Matt Smith, and John.
John.
Yeah. And how that kind of
affected you while you were working on the 50th special?
I was like, me and Stephen had our own little crony group, and we were like, look, like, we'll manage the doctors kind of thing. You know, like, it's gonna be, you know, there's 3 doctors, it's gonna, you know, we'll like, you know, mediate or whatever. And it turned out me and Stephen were like totally ignored, and they were like in the doctor club. But I kind of, like, the first day we did, there was a scene, and we're in the TARDIS, and I say something, and all 3 doctors go, like, in unison, like, and look at me. And I literally turned into, like, a giggly girl. Like, it was like I was totally, like, fangirling, kind of I was like, no! I could not take it seriously every time the 3 of them looked at me, and I just did not know how to react to so many doctors in one room, in one TARDIS. It was so brilliant. It was it felt very celebratory as an episode. And David is so lovely, and John Hurt is a dude and has so many stories. And obviously Matt's alright as well.
Were you on set when Tom Baker was there?
I came in to watch Tom Baker's scene with Matt, so me and Stephen, again, were in the wings, watching them film. What a voice. He has such a good voice. Booms through the room. Something like that.
Because with the 50th anniversary, your character becomes as pivotal to the entire mythology as any companion ever was. That's got to be a weight of some sort.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? I keep get like things like Name of the Doctor as well. I'm pretty chuffed with. Thank you, Stephen.
Hi, my
Hello.
name is David.
Hi, David.
My question is, you mentioned earlier how companions and doctors in Doctor Who are constantly coming and going. How does that kind of affect you personally and just actors in general on the show?
I mean, it's really exciting because the show is dynamic and constantly moving forward, constantly regenerating and becoming new things, and that's why it's lasted 50 years. So it's an incredibly exciting concept. And personally, you know, working with Matt and Peter has been an absolute joy, but it's amazing how emotionally involved you really get with the show. It's somehow, I don't know, I think it's because it's so imaginative and it's about adventure and it's you and you and your best mate in the TARDIS saving the world, and there's something that just captures you about it. And it's leaving, and when people leave on Doctor Who is incredibly emotional. And when Matt left for me, I was absolutely heartbroken, whilst in the same sentence being utterly overjoyed and couldn't wait to get started with Peter. So it's such a range of emotions, but you know, it's just a moment in time that you're never going to have again with another person. It's really special, but it captures you absolutely.
Hi, my name is Hayden. I just want to know, who is your favorite doctor and companion?
Do you know what? I have to say, I love Matt and Karen together. I love their story arc from the Doctor meeting Amy as a child, and just the way that story was told, I just thought was really beautiful, and just a great friendship, a really good friendship. I really enjoyed their time. Hello.
Hi, my name is Matt. There are a lot of theories on Tumblr and the internet around as to who Clara is, such as, you know, she's the Doctor's granddaughter, she is the daughter of a few different companions, that she's even a trap set up by the Great Intelligence.
Okay.
And I was wondering what you thought about that.
I think we call this the Moffat loop, where sometimes, because me and Peter will get a script and we're like, have you seen that line? What do you think it means? Like, you know, maybe it could be. And then we're like, but actually, because 4 episodes ago, that happened and that happened, so it could mean this or it could mean that, but we don't know. But we call it a Moffat loop, and I found sometimes when you try to apply too much logic, it doesn't work. It's good. We like to speculate as well, because who knows what goes on in Stephen's head, and who knows what's going to be on the page. But whatever happens, it's always exciting and not what you expect. Keep speculating.
Without divulging anything, obviously, by the end of the season, will we have closure or satisfaction regarding Clara?
You'll have to watch. episode was really difficult, actually. We're talking about Flatline episode, where the Doctor's trapped inside the TARDIS, so Clara's running around with handbag with TARDIS and Doctor in, and sonic screwdriver, but as well, because the monsters we couldn't see, so everything was imagined. So I spent 2 weeks talking to a plastic TARDIS box with nothing in it, trying to have a handbag and run around with a screwdriver, with an earpiece in, talking to somebody who wasn't there, and also with monsters, which was a green dot. So the whole episode was like a jigsaw puzzle of like trying to like talk to nothing, look at nothing, and like act. So it was a real challenge, but luckily I had Douglas McKinnon, the director, who like really helped guide me through it. But that's probably one of the most multitasking, juggly episodes I've ever had.
Did you get to keep the TARDIS as a souvenir?
No, I didn't. I need to steal more things. Hi.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I really like The Magician's Apprentice episode.
Thank you.
But I was wondering, what's the story with the Doctor's guitar when he's standing on the tank?
The story is, he is, I suppose, a bit of a rocker. We'll see where it goes, but yeah, Peter had suggested it. He plays guitar and he was like, I'd love, we always talk about things that we could have in the TARDIS, or, making it more like homely, and that was like a passing comment Peter made, and Stephen wrote it in. So there's that. There's also a funny line about him having a midlife crisis as well, so yeah, we'll see where it goes.
I love the fact that you can play the chords of the theme song.
Yeah, it's cool. It is. It's great to have on set. Like, we do use it a lot throughout, so we'll see where it goes.
Hi, my name's Jolene.
Sorry, I'm just going to interrupt by saying I kept winding Peter up by adding I might get a recorder. So whenever he is like playing his guitar and looking really cool, I might stand next to him with my recorder or a triangle and like ruin the whole effect.
Sorry. My name's Jolene, and I am so sad to see you leave Doctor Who, but just like Alex Kingston is coming back as River Song for the Christmas special, would you ever come back as Clara?
We'll have to see how Clara leaves. I'm not saying anything, I'm not suggesting anything either, I'm just saying.
You've just set off like 1,000 Tumblr
speculation, Moffat loop.
Hi, I'm Ryan.
Hi.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I guess I gotta get closer here.
That's alright, I can hear you.
Okay, so I really liked your voice work on Xenoblade Chronicles.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great. And I just wanted to know...
That's a video game, by the way.
It's an awesome video game. I just wanted to know what you thought of the story on that. I personally loved it, so I just thought if you read into the story, if you liked it at all.
I don't remember it. It was like 5-6 years ago, and I'd never done a video game voice work before. But it was so much fun because you go into a studio and they say, okay, give us 5 different versions of surprise, starting from your smallest surprise to the biggest surprise. And you have to do like karate chopping noises and like action, like ha, ah, and like all kinds of stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. Hi.
Hi, my name is Toby. So out of all the planets you visited in the movie, what was your most favorite?
Ooh, good question. I have to say, in terms of maybe like visually, in terms of like the Rings of Akaton, because we got to like really explore an alien planet, whereas quite often you're in like craters or like big volcanic sets or something like that. So this time we actually got to be like in a marketplace and eat like alien fruit and kind of see a bit more of that. So that was really cool.
Well, that's the last of the line. So but if anyone else has a quick question that they want to get in line, oh, we have one more here.
Hello?
I'm married, sorry.
episode of Doctor Who, like, what would you do with it? Like, what characters would you have come together?
I would set it in my hometown in Blackpool. Google it. Because it's a place where it's like an old seaside town, and they've got like this big tower and the pleasure beach and loads of lights and illuminations, and I think it's like a really good tapestry and a really good backdrop to have some crazy monsters like around the slot machines and the arcades and the pleasure beach with loads of roller coasters and stuff like that. So it's just really colourful. I think you could do something interesting there.
Hi, my name is Bryson. I'm a really big fan of you and Doctor Who.
Thank you.
I was wondering, what is your favorite Doctor Who quote of all time?
Oh, this is where I wish I'd like prepared. I can think of absolutely nothing now. Oswin, I thought, had some really good one-liners. I mean, you know, I think for Clara, Run You Clever Boy has seemed to have caught on a lot, and is what a lot of people seem to respond to. But I mean, there's all sorts. Stephen's so clever, but I will be prepared for a better answer next time.
Hi, my name is Emmett.
Hi.
So, what's your favorite thing to do with the doctor?
Like, run away from monsters. And, like, my favourite thing actually is when we have days on set which are TARDIS days, and then we just arrive on set and it's the two of us, and it's impossible not to press loads of buttons. And Peter looks at me annoyed because that's not how you drive a TARDIS. But I love those days because it's just the two of us and we just have so much fun together. And it's like we hang out in a spaceship, and that's really cool.
Before we get to the next question, I want to remind everybody that Jenna-Louise is doing a autograph sessions after this panel over in the autograph area. So if you want to get your autograph with her, that's the time and place to do it. So, all right, next question.
Hi.
All right, I want to know if you could play any superheroine, which one you would like to play, either Marvel or DC or any.
Clara Oswald. She's a school teacher who saves the world.
My name's Tim.
Hi.
I've heard Karen Gill answer this question.
Yep.
I'm wondering for you, what's the dorkiest thing you ever saw Matt Smith do?
Did she tell you the story about him with on set when he fell over? Yeah, that's the story. Matt always. The funny thing was when I first joined, Matt always used to fall over a lot. But you know when someone then tries to stand up and pretend they're fine and it didn't hurt, but they're also really embarrassed. So he just used to do stuff like that all the time. It's because he likes to skid. You know, like when you're running and you stop and you kind of do a skid stop. He used to quite enjoy them, but the skidding always used to end in disaster occasionally. Often with him on the floor. And then he'd stand up and be like, fine.
What are your feelings about the Doctor never being a ginger?
Is that a thing? Is that a thing?
Each time, and several times at the start of regeneration, he realizes he's not a ginger this time.
Oh, I see. Who knows? Who knows who will be the next Doctor?
Hi, I was just wondering if you had any funny cast stories that you would want to tell.
There are so many, but I feel like I'm repeating myself. There's one with Peter when he by accident took a shower on set, just because he was pressing buttons and was curious. He went missing around a power station at 3 a.m. in the morning and came back soaking wet. And we were saying what's happened, and it turns out he was hungry. He went for a walk, saw a button and pressed it, and then it was actually a shower. So before the take, he had like 5 makeup artists with hair dryers, like him, to try and dry him off so we could get the shot done. But it was just very funny because it was a very Doctor-like thing to do, I thought.
We're almost done here. I want to ask you one thing. would you have any advice for the next companion?
Oh man, just enjoy it. Enjoy every second. I think when I came in, Karen was in the process of leaving. And I saw Matt leave as well. So I've always been very aware it's very a short space of time that you can have this adventure. So enjoy it and kind of try not to worry, because you're in amazing hands with Peter, and you're just going to have a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, remind you again, autograph sessions after this over in the autograph area. And ladies and gentlemen, Jenna-Louise Coleman.